Hello and welcome to Makula. Today, we're going to walk you through how you can easily create work orders, assign them to your team, and ensure that the work gets done. To create a new work order, simply click Add New Work Order, select the type of work order. As soon as you select the type of work order, you will have certain additional fields that will show up here based on the work order form that you've set up. Then, of course, select the company that the work order is for, the asset that the work order is for. You must then give the work order a title. Let's say this is a standard service request. If there were any parts that were needed to be either replaced or the customer had called you and said they wanted to order certain parts, you could easily assign any of those parts in this step. Then you must go on and fill out certain other fields. Let's say you spoke to the customer and he said, okay, maybe it's not that urgent. The status of the machine is still operational. We would like if we could get this work done by the 30th of June, and let's ignore this field for now. Once done, we submit the work order and land inside the work order that we've just created. As soon as you come in to this work order, you can, of course, see the company that it's for, the machine that it is for, custom fields that you filled out, plus, of course, other basic information, right? What the status of the work order is, and this is something that you can, of course, change. Let's say we still need more information from the customer and we say, okay, we're going to call them back. I need to now assign this to a couple of my engineers or technicians. And since I can see that the team responsible for the asset or the customer on this work order is Alfing US, I see my Alfing US team members appear right at the top. Let's say I'm going to assign this right now to Benjamin. I can give it a due date. Let's say the customer said it would be nice if this is done by the 30th. Let's say we mark the same date as the due date for this work order. Now, the schedule date is when I'm actually going to send my engineer out to do this work, right? And let's say we schedule this for the 29th until the 30th. And let's say all day. As soon as I update this, the engineer gets an email notification. By the way, the engineer also received an email notification when I assigned this work order to them. So Benjamin received an email. And as soon as I schedule it, they also receive an email saying there's a work order with this title for this company, for this asset. It's been assigned to you and scheduled for the 29th and the 30th of June. Now, if there was someone in particular that I spoke to from the customer's company, I could select one of them here. Let's say I spoke to Pauline. If there are any resources that my engineer needs to carry when they're going to the customer site, I would add them here. These are the 4 resources, and let's say they needed an installation kit to take with them. Now, as I do this, the engineer, when they come onto this work order, or my technician, when they're on this work order, they know exactly when they need to carry this work out. They know exactly what customer and what asset it's for. They know what resources they need to take. If there were any parts requested, they would know what parts to take along or maybe even ship. And then they come down, they maybe look at a couple of your asset custom fields, which are also being fetched from the asset in question, and also some company custom fields. And while these could be important for your engineers, these are also important for your service managers or the back office people. So for example, if this customer was blacklisted, right? Or maybe they hadn't paid their last invoice. And if that was something that I stored as a custom field on a company level, let's say customer status or facility status as an example, I would see that right away, and I would probably reach out to the customer before getting this work done. At this point, what I can also do is if I already know that certain service reports or procedures need to be filled out, I can simply assign them to this work order. Let's say there was a safety check that needed to be carried out, and maybe a risk or a machine maintenance checklist. Now I can already attach these to the work order so that when my technician arrives on site, takes out his mobile app, then he already knows these are the 2 things that I need to do. If there's any additional supporting information that I want to share with my technicians, I can also add those to this work order as attachments so that your engineers are always prepared and they have everything on hand that they need to effectively carry out service. Of course, when the engineer comes in, when they go on site, we will change the status of this to, for example, visit scheduled. And once, of course, they're done with all the work, the customer signed off on the service reports, we will then ultimately close the work order. As soon as a work order is closed, you can see how certain things just change from blue to gray. Now, all editable parts of the work order are now inactive, meaning nothing can be changed. You can't come in and drop any messages. You can't track any time. The work order is now closed, and you now technically move on to the next task. That's all for work orders. If there's any other help that you're looking for, feel free to check out other videos. Thank you.